and welcome to another episode of Star Trek. My guest today is a rising star in Indian politics, Conrad Sangma, Chief Minister of Meghalaya and Working President of the National People's Party. Conrad, welcome to Star Trek.
Thank you, Wasbir. Thank
You
so much.
see, I mean, you have attained political stardom at quite a young age compared to political leaders in the country. So does political stardom come with a price? What do you think?
I mean, first of all, I don't think there's any word as political stardom as such. We're just doing what we should be doing as political leaders.
Yeah.
So I think I would not want to be categorized at all in that category of political stardom as such. So we are doing our part, and people are supporting us. People feel that we are taking up issues related to the people,
Yeah.
and we'll continue to do that. But yes, I think when you work for the people and when you're in the political field, it does come with its own cost. It does come with a lot of sacrifice, and I think it's not just politics. I think everybody who works, I'm sure for you also, if I call you also as one of the stars for Northeast, because you are the way you are projecting Northeast from the media point of view. I think everybody who has a lot of passion in what they do, normally they tend to actually compromise a lot on personal issues.
Yeah.
So it does come at a cost, but I think it's important to balance it, and we try our best, but not always possible.
See, I mean, you crisscross the state, you have a big party now, your party is a pan-Northeast party, you have a lot of responsibilities. How do you manage the home? You have your daughters, I mean, and your wife, of course, is a doctor by profession. She's also now busy in other activities, including your party work. So, do you really get time to look into your kid who is growing up?
I try to make time out. They study in Delhi,
Yeah.
so that in a way is something that is good and bad in its own way. It's bad because they're far away from me,
Yeah.
but it's good in the sense that when I'm here, I focus totally on my work.
Yeah.
And then whenever I go to Delhi, then I'm able to give them time. But it's definitely not enough, and I wish I
Not
could
enough.
spend more
So
time with them.
Delhi, I mean, you are a product of St. Columbus in Delhi,
Yes,
and then of course you went off to do your BBA in Wharton, US, and then to Imperial College in London for your masters. Now, I mean, you have been out from the family for a very, very long time. Now suddenly you are plunging into politics. Of course, a lot of people call you a dynast. That has its own plus points and minus points. Being a dynast, of course, it helps you initially. But what are your thoughts today? How do you react when
I
people
think,
call you, oh, he's a dynast?
Well, I cannot deny that fact that my family and my late father was a person who really, came up from the grassroots, and he had really built up an image which is something that will always be there behind us. So I cannot deny that fact.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people will also know that we did have our own areas of struggle. When we started off I joined politics when NCP was formed. And I realized that I needed to be with my father and work with him. It was a very tough time for him. And that is the time when I plunged into politics. This was in 1999.
Yeah.
And I just finished my college at the time. So from that time, I had been actually really, into organizational work. Before that, of course, I was always campaigning with him from a very young age of 12,
Yeah.
and I started giving speeches from that time.
Yeah.
So I was always interested in public life, and that's how it has been. And from my personal point of view, it's not been a very easy path for me as such. I've contested 5 times, I've lost twice, and I keep telling people that in politics and in life, it is the times when you lose, you learn the most.
So which is easier to cope, victory or defeat?
I think it's a good question. Very easy to say, that it's the victory that's easy to
Cope.
But I think both are quite difficult in a sense.
Yeah.
I think if you look at it from different angles,
Yeah.
and I think defeat is something that is important in life. It teaches you a lot, and I can tell you 70% of maybe what I've learned is after defeat.
So you have
And
emerged a stronger personality, or you have emerged
yes,
a stronger man after
I
your
think
two
so.
defeats.
Absolutely. And I learned a lot about grassroots politics. I learned not to take things for granted. And I think that's very important in life, to be, really down on the ground and really
Yeah.
understand what the people feel, not really letting the entire uh, power or the position, control you. I think those things come with defeat. It humbles you in one certain
Very
ways.
true.
And
Very
I'm not
true.
saying that I'm a humble person or anything like that, but I'm just saying that it has really taught me a lot of things.
Now, what has business school taught you? Now, see, you are the chief executive of the state as the chief minister. I mean, I'm using a fancy word. You are the CEO of the state. You have to move and shake things. Everything depends on the direction you show. So, a lot of personal, ideas matter. At the end of the day, yes, we all know that cabinet has to pass a major decision. But at the end of the day, whoever is heading at whatever point of time, I think that direction that person gives. Now, what has business school taught you? Has it come in handy now?
I think it has. It has a lot. It's just about the whole mindset of how you look at things. A lot has to do with teamwork. A lot has to do in realizing that you are not just having a cabinet of 12, but you're having employee strength of 70,000. And I think realizing that every employee can actually add value. And as a leader, you must listen to even the most junior person in your system to the most senior person in your system. And I think being in business school and realizing the importance of teamwork, realizing the importance of diversity in the system and keeping
Yeah.
your ears to the ground.
Yeah.
I think these factors are very important. Apart from that, of course, the professional way of approaching things, ensuring that, you properly study, analyze, research. I think these things come with a basic business background, and that's the core. And I feel that that has helped me to ensure that whatever I do today in my work, a lot of research goes into it, a lot of hard work goes into it, and a lot of professional approaches there when we try to work on
Now,
it.
do you reflect? You are a thinking politician. We have got. Unfortunately, we don't have very many of them. I'm not generalizing. I'm not casting aspersions on anybody. You see, why is it the impression, the perception that politicians usually get very arrogant? The moment elected, and I mean that is a general impression, general perception among the Aam Aadmi. And today there is such a divide between the everybody wants to go. Oh, I am an Aam Aadmi, trying to segregate between the Aam Aadmi and the political class. Does it worry you, or do you think the problem lies with the political class to a great extent?
I don't think it'd be good to generalize
Yeah, of course.
things.
I'm also not generalizing.
Yeah, but I guess it does come with its own effects, I should say,
Yeah.
and maybe some individuals, tend to feel a bit more, powerful or whatever you call it. But I don't subscribe to that kind of a mindset, and I always tell everybody that we must always look at this as an opportunity to make a difference in people's lives. And I think once you start believing in that and say that, well, God has given me this opportunity, the public has given me this opportunity, I must do something and I must, make a difference. I think it changes the way you feel, and I'll always believe in that philosophy.
What is the difference in the state of Meghalaya? What is the difference that you would love to make? Whether you succeed or not is a different thing, but something which is high on your agenda. Because your dad, the late Mr. Purno Sangma, he was such a mass leader. And today, of course, you are also heading the foundation, P.A. Sangma Foundation. You are into education and other activities in Garo Hills and elsewhere. But if I ask you this question, what would you like, something that you'd like to bring about change in this beautiful state of Meghalaya? What is it going to be?
I stick to the same point which I had started when I took over the government, and even in my election I had mentioned that it is the delivery mechanism in the state.
Delivery mechanism.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
a very simple word, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you it's a big thing. Now there are a lot of government schemes, especially social sector schemes, which
Yeah.
are very important to me.
Yeah.
And these schemes are things that actually have been there in the past, but
Yeah.
it's just that it's not been done in a proper manner, and people are not getting the benefit on time or the amount of benefit that they should get. To give you a simple example, you see, we always used to give the old age pension. But Meghalaya was known to give the old age pension once in a year in the month of January, February.
Okay.
You see, why do the old people have to wait for the whole year
To get the pension.
that pension?
Why can't they get it every month?
Why can't they get it every month? So what I did was, I found out the reasons why this was happening. And in the last year, that means this financial year itself, we started ensuring that the money went to the blocks and the DCs in advance. and we started to ensure that the money was deposited on time. So I'm just giving a small example
Yeah.
of what I mean by saying the delivery mechanism. But I think as a whole, I think for the government, the social sectors would be some area that I would really like to prioritize in the next, 1 year to 2 years. Of course, infrastructure, socioeconomic areas, farmers' issues, youth issues, all of them are important to us.
Absolutely.
But I think social sectors are something that is education and health primarily
primarily.
are really, really crux. And I think if we can ensure that the efficiency doubles in these areas, I think we'll be able to really make a difference in people's lives.
Viewers, that you have heard Mr. Conrad Sangma thoughts well cut out. He has got a lot in his plate. We'll have to wait and watch how he goes about executing his ideas into action. On that note, to go for a short break, don't go away. I'll be right back in conversation with the rising star of Indian politics, Conrad Sangma, the Chief Minister of Meghalaya. Welcome back. I'm in conversation with the Chief Minister of Meghalaya, Mr. Conrad Sangma, for Star Trek. Conrad, I know you are into rock and Bollywood. How do you relax? Do you get time to even practice, or you have transformed into a bathroom singer?
Yes, I think that's a good description. We have, and I keep joking with people
Yeah.
that we used to always play music, but now we face the music.
Play music, now you're facing the music. Oh, that's a very nice way of putting it.
That's
Yeah.
how things are now.
Yeah.
But it's of course something that has always been a passion, not just for me, but I think people from Northeast in general
Yeah.
are a lot into music. So I'm the same. I'm no different.
But why is it that all the chief ministers of Meghalaya, at least your predecessor, was also into music? You used to gig on and off, but we haven't seen your video as yet, dancing or something like that. But how do you relax? I mean, do you still sing, or is your audience your wife, who is a doctor by profession?
Well, I think she definitely will not enjoy the music as much as maybe others would, because she's heard me sing too many times. But yeah, I try to just relax whenever it's possible with our friends, with our other colleagues, MLAs, and my old friend circle. So we do have, and there are times and occasions when we do have live music going on, and I do sing once in a while, but not as much as
You'd
others.
love to.
Yeah, and
You'd love to.
others would do, or I would love to, absolutely. But I guess it's still something that I really love.
But you also enjoy watching films. I've heard that your favorite stars are Amitabh Bachchan and Deepika Padukone. I've read somewhere. Have you changed your priorities now, or?
I like a lot of Bollywood and Hollywood movies. So it's I whenever I get a chance, so Netflix and other apps, I'm always on the movies. So yes, I like all these actors that you've mentioned, and of course others also.
Yeah, of course.
So, but that's the only thing we can actually do now when we are in a flight. Maybe sometimes we watch a movie. So that's how it is. But that's, as you had said in the beginning.
Yeah.
It comes with its own
Yeah.
situations and conditions. So that's how it is.
Now I mean, once a politician, always a politician. Whether you relax, whether you are at home, whether you are singing lullabies to your kids, or whether you are doing your homework. I don't know whether you get time to do their homework, your daughter's homework. Have you ever tried your hand, or that is your wife's domain?
No. I of course she does it more. I try sometimes, but of course I cannot give as much time as possible.
No,
Yeah,
my
but
question
we
was,
do.
what I was coming to. Once a politician, always a politician. You have to be, and whatever you try to do, you are ultimately drawn into the vortex of the key issues. And now, of course, we have got a lot of key issues in the northeastern region. We have the NRC coming up. We have this whole issue about Citizenship Amendment Bill. You have the inner line issue in Meghalaya. People are demanding. So what's going on? How do you deal with this kind of various people coming with various demands? It's obviously not that you'll just listen to them and forget about it. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You cannot do that. You have to act on that.
Obviously, we can't. And every day, in fact, we are always meeting people and discussing all the important issues that are important to the state. And you're right. At this given time, there are many issues that are of concern to my state and the Northeast as a whole. And as a political party that is very much Northeast centric, it is my duty, and of course, it's also a big concern to me to ensure that as far as problem we address those
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah.
So we try our best, and of course, it's not the easiest thing to do, but we are doing what we can from our side.
Now, how easy or difficult is for you? It has been to lead a government where you have at least 2 to 3 different political parties. Coalition dharma itself is totally different, and you are of course yourself a consensus kind of a person. That's what a lot of people are telling me, that you believe in consensus. I want to hear from your own with
Yeah, I think
own words.
I think you're right. Number one, it's 6 political parties, not
Yeah,
two.
not two,
Yeah, so
six.
we have
Yes.
6 political parties, so it's quite difficult. But I think this is again where some part of the management, I should say, comes in, because I think it's so important in a coalition that the people feel that they are involved in a decision. I think that's very important. Whether the decision has been taken, in right way or the wrong way, or it's been a decision that people may not all agree to it. But I think the fact that when you make people involved in the decision making, and at least take their opinion, and accordingly, get everybody on board, I think it makes a big difference. So my efforts have always been that whenever I take a decision,
Yeah.
especially when it's a very complicated decision, I ensure that I ask everybody, and I ensure that their views are heard. And then decision will be ultimately what leadership thinks is right, or a consensus-based decision. But involvement is always there, and I think that is a very important aspect of coalition.
So what is your prediction? I'm not asking you the question only about Meghalaya. Do you think in this country, would the era of one-party rule is over for good, or do you think at some point of time, single party may still come back?
No, I think single party is there right now also. If you look at the national level,
The BJP.
has got 300
Yeah,
seats.
yeah.
But I think that's not important why, whether the political line has gone in that area or not. But
yeah.
what is important is the fact that the diversity of the nation is such that it requires, diverse areas and a coalition kind of a system to be there. Because if that does not happen, then I think the voice of the people somewhere will be lost. And I think it's so important to ensure that that space is given to political parties, and more importantly, the public in the government and in the system. And that is where, and that is why coalitions are important, because it really allows this diverse nation and the people from different walks of life and different areas and regions and cultures to really express their concerns.
Now you see, National People's Party. This was launched by your dad, by your father, and it was concentrated only in Meghalaya. Now it is the only pan Northeast political party. Now, what plans do you have for its further expansion? Do you think you will have a presence elsewhere in the country?
No, the NPP, of course, as you said correctly, we started off in just one state, and now with the vision that Mr. P.S. Sangma had put in, and his brand image that is even there live even today, and the work that has been put in by the team.
Yeah.
We are today the only national party from the Northeast, and I think that is a great thing, and this is one of the dreams of Mr. P.S. Sangma. So I'm very happy that we've managed to achieve that with the teamwork of all the people. Having said that, the aspirations of the people of other regions of the country are also there, and there is a lot of dynamics, change going on in politics at different states levels.
Yeah.
So therefore, as a political party, being a national party now, obviously we will look at the scope of the party expanding its wings and entering other states. For example, we will be contesting some seats in Jharkhand.
Jharkhand.
Yes.
Okay.
So the elections are there.
So it's coming. That means you're going to have it very soon.
We have already put up some candidates.
How many candidates?
Right now, I think just about 2 to 3 candidates have come in. It's not easy.
So
I have to understand.
Is the first place outside the Northeast that you will be having a presence now?
Well, we have presence in the terms of units out there. Like we have units in Maharashtra, we have units in Bihar. We had a unit at one point even in Chhattisgarh.
Yeah.
We had units in Rajasthan.
Yeah.
So we've had units even now, but having units and actually having representatives in the assembly
Yeah.
are two different
Two different things, yeah.
So therefore, we want to ensure that we start getting MLAs or MPs in other parts of the country also. So it's not an easy task, but I feel strongly that an NPP can be an acceptable party throughout the country,
So
and
the
we are
moral,
working towards that.
right? The moral of the story is that since you are expanding across the Northeast and now you want to get out of the Northeast as well, have your presence felt. The moral of the story is that means the regional political party, regionalism is definitely a very relevant force in the country, in the country's context today.
Yeah, it is. It is. And having said that, for NPP, we are still a party that is focusing mainly on providing a platform for the Northeast region. If you remember, and the stand that Mr. P. Sangma had taken,
Yeah.
that he would like to voice the concerns of the Northeast. He said at the voice he would like to express the concerns of the indigenous people. He had mentioned. So therefore, I think the word indigenous, which sometimes also is tribal, but
Yeah.
indigenous is a much more broader term.
Yeah.
I think has been one of the pillars of our, our constitution. So therefore, keeping that in mind, we are really looking at indigenous people throughout the nation. And I think so. Northeast aspect will always be there, and that's the prime area of our focus as of now. And as we expand, we look into the indigenous areas where we can expand.
Now,
the party.
you have become a hero in the current agitation against the Citizenship Amendment Bill. Because whenever we meet any student group in the Northeastern region, everybody cites your example, and to actually tickle the other heads of governments in the neighboring states. If Conrad Sangma and his government can take this stand, boldly oppose the cap, why can't you? That is the oft-repeated refrain. And everybody goes to you and meet you whenever you are in, even this time when you were in Delhi a couple of days ago, everybody went and met you. Now the question is, that means you are also having to have a tightrope walk, or you have been very blunt in telling the Prime Minister and the Home Minister that, see, this is not going to work out that well for the Northeastern region. You have to either modify it or do it this way. Have you been clearly giving them this suggestion, your mind?
No, I think it's exactly what is happening. Number one, I don't want to again put that word star in any way, because really we are really working for the people. So I think that is not the way I look at things. We have been raising the issue. CAB has been an issue that has been very contentious.
Yes.
I know, and last year there was a lot of areas where, and regions, where a lot of agitations took place. And even for me, at that point as a party, though being part of NDA, we were very, very vocal about it.
Yeah.
And I think beyond that phase, what has happened in the last 1 year, that the government has started reaching out. And you can see that the government of India, the Home Minister has, asked organizations, asked states to come and let's discuss. And I think it's a very, very positive step. And I think this is what I've been trying to tell everybody, that it's always when you take people together, you take their views and and discuss with them and find ways to address their concerns. That is the only way to move forward. So I've seen that this is happening. They are suggesting a lot of positive things, and I must actually thank Mr. Amit Shah, our Honorable Home Minister, who has taken his time out. I was telling some of the friends the other day that he must have met more than 100 groups. Even just Meghalaya alone, we were 24 groups.
24 groups.
Yeah, so just Meghalaya alone, 24. So I think it's a very magnanimous way of addressing things. But the point remains is that how do we address the concerns? And every state, every region within the Northeast itself, so you're talking about like Assam, you're talking about Meghalaya,
Manipur.
Everybody has their own concerns.
Right.
And it's a very complicated situation where government of India will have to find out ways, different ways of addressing different issues. And that is where the challenge lies.
Absolutely. Now, final one or two questions. You see, Destination Meghalaya. Now, what is it, that you'd like to see for the state so that people come? And now, suppose there is an inland permit, it creates a lot of restrictions. Is there a contradiction? Is there a clash between protecting the identity and throwing open a beautiful state to tourists, not just from the whole country, but maybe from all over the world?
I think number one, yes, Meghalaya has always been a destination for tourists, and we have been very lucky to have such beautiful locations, so we are actually seeing a lot of tourists coming in. But having said that, there are concerns from our local residents, our people out here, and the society in general, that all these kind of activities taking place in the region, which means Northeast region and beyond the borders also. We need mechanisms to ensure that, while tourism thrives, how do we protect our people?
Yeah.
So therefore, having said that, I think, it's not, I don't think both cannot exist. They can coexist. We can have tourism. You go to any other part in the world today, many places, for anybody going in. You need all the requirements of permissions,
So,
of visas.
yeah.
So I feel it's just been looked at it in a wrong way. And I think we can easily, now for example, we have come out with the Residency Act.
Right.
Now, a lot of people say it's going to affect tourism. So I tell people, look, if you go to Bombay, you have to register in the hotel when you enter.
Yeah.
You have to fill up the form.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling,
and the list goes to the police
yeah,
every
and
evening.
it goes every evening, absolutely. So what is it? Why can't I do it here? Because I do it, it looks as if I'm going against the tourists. If Maharashtra does it or does it, I'm not saying Maharashtra, I'm saying any other state.
Yeah,
that is fine. That is fine. So I'm just doing the same thing except I'm making it online and I'm giving you the option of doing it in advance. And it's going to be a system which is going to be on the mobile phone. So while you are actually getting off the flight and entering your vehicle, you can register within 30 seconds.
So what about?
So that's what my simple point
So
is.
you are also. I mean, I understand you are trying hard to make Meghalaya also a footballing destination.
Absolutely.
What's going on?
No, I think not just football, but I think in general sports, Northeast as a whole has got a lot of talent, and we feel that we need to try to get that out. Football happens to be a natural choice for a lot of people in Shillong and Meghalaya as a whole. So therefore, it was easier for us to do that. So we realized that maybe we need to start the activities.
Yes.
Even at the very junior level also. So we have baby leagues that have started.
Baby leagues.
We have also now we're having different football missions that are taking place where we're putting up infrastructures in different parts of the state. We're also trying to ensure that we start supporting some of the teams that are doing well. So I think these kind of activities will again just push up and give that necessary motivation to the sports, to the footballers, to really take up sports as even as a career option. And especially when you're seeing so many stars in football coming up in ISL, in different clubs who would never have dreamt that this opportunity.
But you had been yourself a goalkeeper, is it? I mean, in football.
Let's not get into that.
Let us not get into that. We'll get into that some other time, Conrad Sangma.
No, but yes, I was in football. I used to play, but I wasn't nowhere close to how talented our people are here. But yes, it used to be one area where I used to try my luck. I could not do too well in it. So I just left.
Okay, but who knows? You might get some free time sometimes and be the goalkeeper of a club when we are having serious football. Conrad, thank you very much for being on Star Trek.
Yeah, thanks a lot.